Good morning, everybody. Welcome back there. So I'm on Scott Selections here for Saturday, December 18th. Before we get into today's play of the day, quick recap weapon. Yeah, so we had a nice winner in the NBA with the Grizzlies, -5.5 at -110 on FanDuel. Really never in doubt. Kings were shorthanded, ran out of gas in the second half, and the Grizzlies blew them out. So a nice winner there. Look for another easy winner here on Saturday. But since it is Saturday, that means one thing and one thing only. It is time for the UFC video of the week and looking at UFC Fight Night Lewis versus Daukaus. Should be a very entertaining card, a lot of fun fights. I'm going to go through a couple of them here. So if you're expecting one play, apologies. I'm going to give you six. So hopefully you can forgive me. Strap in, get comfortable, maybe grab a beer, grab some popcorn, and we'll try to go through this in around, I'd say, 10 to 15 minutes, and we'll see how we do. But looking at the first play, I'm going to do what I normally do for UFC, which is go in chronological order, start with the prelim, work our way up until we get to the main event. But starting with the first prelim fight that I actually like, I'm going to look at a fight between two big boys in the heavyweight division, looking at Tafa and Hunsucker. And the first prop's going to be on the fight to end in the first round at -110 on Fox Bet. And the couple reasons why I like this prop. First of all, the same bet is available at -150 on DraftKings. So you're saving 40 cents just by shopping around, no questions asked. But Hunsucker has appeared in 11 MMA fights in his career. He has never made it into the second round. Each of his first 11 fights have ended in round one. So if you're batting 1,000 for a prop and it's -110, I got to take it. Even if it loses, you're going to give me one fighter who's basically proven he cannot make it past 5 minutes. I do think there's value automatically on that prop. But Hunsucker also has a bit of a questionable chin. He has 4 career losses, and each of them have been by knockout. So his chin is a bit suspect. And Tafa might not be the greatest fighter or the most technically sound fighter, but he's definitely a banger. And I do think he's going to stand in the middle. They're going to trade. Fight should be crazy. And I do think you will see an early stoppage. Tafa is to win by knockout in the first round is even money. So I think that if you're looking at a situation where you can just pick up a chance for Hunsucker to pull off a miracle and only pay 10 cents, that's a pretty good deal. So I'm going to take -110 there as the first play. And the second play is going to be on the same fight. I'm going to be looking at a smaller play, a little sprinkle on Tafa and Hunsucker. Fight to end in the first 60 seconds at 7-1 on Fox Bet. Now, first of all, same bet is available at +450 on DraftKings. So same story as the first bet. You can shop around, save $2.50. I'll do that every time. But each of Hunsucker's last 2 fights have ended in the first minute. So he's a go-for-broke guy very early. He's probably going to bum rush Tafa. They're going to stand in the middle, trade a little bit, and I wouldn't be surprised to see one of them get their head taken off. But I do think for a 7-1 bet, where one of the fighters has had this prop cash in each of the last 2, has value in itself. And I do think there's a good chance this fight's going to end extremely early, potentially in the first minute or 30 seconds. But it's going to be a small play, so don't load up on it. That's going to be a small sprinkle. My preferred play is going to be to end in the first round, but I do also like that little +700 nugget there for a little change. But looking at the second fight, it's going to be between Mearshart and Stolzfus. I'm going to try not to butcher that name because I'm going to have to pronounce it a couple of times. And Mearshart to win by submission is +200 on Fox Bet, and I'm going to take that all day, every day. Now, a couple reasons why I like him to win by submission. First of all, Mearshart is a -250 favorite. So you know me, if you see a huge chalky favorite, I like to take exact methods and try to cut into that juice. And you're saving $4.50 by simply taking him by submission. And that is important because Mearshart has won 33 fights in his MMA career. 25 of them have been by submission. So he's a submission expert. That's really all he likes to do. And yet they're going to give you $4.50 differential between the money line and submission all day, every day. That's all I'm going to say, because I do think this line should be closer to around, I'd say, +130, give or take, just based on how often he wins by submission. But Stolzfus is 0-2 in his UFC career. He lost via submission in his last fight, so his takedown defense isn't great. His submission defense isn't great. And against Mearshart, that's going to be a problem. But Stolzfus has been in, as I said before, 2 UFC fights, and he's been taken down at least twice in each of those 2 fights. So, what I said before, takedown defense, not very good, and I do think if Mearshart's able to take it to the mat at least once, I think Stolzfus might not get up, because I do think Mearshart is that good on the ground, and I do think that he should be able to get a submission in at some point within these 15 minutes. But +200, that's just a hell of a deal. I'm going to take that every time. But looking at the third fight that I like, the third fight and the fourth pick, looking at a matchup between Ricky Simon and Asenso. And for this one, I'm taking Simon by decision at plus 135 on Fox Bet. Couple reasons why, similar to the Mearshart fight, Simon is roughly a minus 300 favorite, minus 330, give or take, and 10 of his 18 wins have come by decision. So you're going to save me $4.35. Of course, I'm going to take it. But Simon is a takedown machine. I imagine him or visualize him as a poor man's Dvalishvili. He will try to ragdoll you at all costs, and I do think he will have some success in the takedown department in this fight. Simon has recorded at least 6 takedowns in each of the last 4 fights, and he's not exactly known to stop many guys. So I do think you will see Simon get a couple of takedowns, lean on Asensio, and you'll see Simon rack up some points on the scorecards en route to a nice decision. Plus, Asensio has lost each of his last 3 fights, so he was a very solid fighter back in the day in his weight class, but now the bantamweight's a little bit older. He's not the same guy he used to be, and I do think that Simon is just stronger than him and will take advantage of that strength, disparity there. But also worth mentioning that Simon in the stand-up does have a 3-inch reach advantage. So I do think that Asensio, who's a bit shorter, is going to have a hard time getting on the inside, and I do think that Simon's going to keep distance, laying the jab, and then when Asensio does end up coming in, I do think Simon will use his reach to potentially shoot for some takedowns and land a couple. So I like Simon to win by decision at plus 135 on Fox Bet. And looking at the main event, I have 2 plays that I like, and spoiler alert, one of these plays is automatically going to lose. So the 2 plays I'm going to have for 1 unit, I got Derek Lewis to win by knockout at plus 235 on Fox Bet. And the second play is going to be for 1.35 units on Daukaus to win by knockout at plus 155 on Fox Bet. So you might be wondering why I decided to break it up that way. And the reason why is because if either fighter wins by knockout, you pick up a free unit. No questions asked, and I do think there's a very good chance. If not, I don't want to say it's a lock, but it's a pretty safe assumption that somebody's going to be unconscious by the end of this fight. But looking at some of the actual breakdowns for these fighters, each of Daukaus' last 10 fights have ended via knockout. So he's a pretty well-known knockout artist at this stage in his MMA career, and I do think that both these fighters have the power and really just the speed to potentially knock the other one unconscious immediately. Now, Lewis has been in 33 MMA fights in his career, and 25 of them have ended via knockout. So he is also known for being one of the best power punchers in the organization. I believe he has the record for most knockout wins in the history of the sport. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure he broke the record in his win against, I want to say Blades, I think. But the point is that he now has the record, so he's a knockout specialist as well. And of course, I said that 25 of Lewis's 33 fights have ended in knockout. Some have gone to decision, and those were all obviously 3-round fights. However, this is the main event, and it is a 5-round fight. So my question for you, do you think that Lewis, Andash, or Daukaus are really going to last 25 minutes in the ring? The answer is no. So I do think that somebody will end up getting their head taken off, and neither fighter has gone into a 5th round before. Daukaus has never been into a 4th round before, and I do think that eventually fatigue will play a factor if you do not get an early stoppage. But these 2 guys are very, very dangerous. They're going to go head hunting. Whether or not you think Lewis is going to win or whether you think that Daukaus are going to win, the point is that they both have the ability to win by knockout relatively easily. And if you're going to give me a decent plus price on both, I'm going to take both. Particularly Lewis, plus 235 is absurd. Shopping around, you can find mostly 175, 155, but 235, I mean, I don't know what Fox Bet's thinking, but they're saving you 60 cents compared to any other book. I'm obviously taking that, and I think Daukaus has a good chance to win the fight, so for that reason, I'll take him by knockout as well. So, to go through all of those plays once again, 6 plays in all on 4 separate fights, and looking at all of them once again, I got Tafa and Hunsucker fight to end in the first round at minus 110 on Fox Bet for 1 unit. I got half a unit on Tafa and Hunsucker fight to end in the first minute at plus 700 on Fox Bet. I have Mearshart by submission at plus 200 on Fox Bet for 1 unit. I got Ricky Simon to win by a decision at plus 135 on Fox Bet for 1 unit. I got 1 unit on Lewis to win by knockout at plus 235 on Fox Bet. And last but not least, I got 1.35 units on Daukaus to win by knockout at plus 155 on Fox Bet. So those are my plays on the UFC card. Good luck to all of you, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye, everyone.